Commissioners Court of Brazos County will meet in regular session on June the 11th, 2019, 10 a.m. in the Commissioners Courtroom of the County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106, Bryan, Texas. First on the agenda is invocation and pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Aldridge will lead us.
Everlasting Father, eternal God, we thank you for the blessings. We thank you that we are able to love you because you first loved us. We ask that you give us wisdom, your strength, your guidance in making decisions on behalf of our community here today and every day that we serve the citizens of Brazos County. We ask that you continue to watch over our first responders and those in our military service around the world who protect our rights to meet in freedom and do things the way that we do things in this country. Liberty came with a price, and we ask that you make that price something that we all understand, and the freedom that your son bought for us with the price is also the freedom that a number of people throughout history have bought for us to have the liberty that we enjoy as citizens of the United States, citizens of Texas, and citizens of Brazos County. We thank you once again for the many gifts you continue to give us. We ask that we continue to serve you and have our eyes on you as the one whose will shall be done, and us to be a part of your will. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Thank you, Commissioner Aldridge.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is call for citizens' input and our concerns. Hearing any, we'll go to number 3, presentations and our discussions. First up, proposal for street name changes by Jason Schubert.
Just
Morning.
1 second here.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jason Schubert with the City of College Station Planning Development Services Department. This morning I bring before you a proposal to change some street names in what I'm calling the Greens Prairie Road corridor. A portion of this area is within, the majority is inside the city limits of College Station, and a portion is actually outside the city limits. So I've bring it for your consideration, and if there's consensus, then at a future time we'll actually consider formally sending notifications and formally adopting it. This item came forward to the city from Brazos County on 911, and I want to give some background first. And so the purpose is to really reduce confusion in the area regarding how the streets are configured and enhance 911 response. Ultimately, emergency responders are able to respond more quickly if folks know where they're at, and there's less confusion on where the emergency responders need to go. As mentioned, part of this is outside the city limits, and so that's why I'm before you today presenting this concept. On the city's considerations, we have a traffic management team, which is an interdepartmental staff committee, met in May and recommended approval of these changes. The committee also includes police and fire representatives that are emergency responders. The College Station Council has a subcommittee, a transportation and mobility subcommittee. We presented this proposal or concept to them at their May meeting as well, and they affirmed to continue moving forward and to come to the county and see if this is going to be a joint effort, and that's why I'm here today. The proposal has 4 different parts. If you look at the exhibit on the screen, the right-hand side or the left-hand side is what the street names are today, and as you see, really the blue color as Greens Prairie Road West kind of makes the jog there at Wood Lake over to what now is Victoria with the 2 90-degree turns. So the proposal is to rename some streets in the area so that the streets are more continuous. So you're not going down one street and then it turns into a different street, or the street turns on you, if you will. So the first 2 items are actually inside the city limits, and so wouldn't need county consideration. But for number one is that actually that portion of Greensbury Road West that you see there on the left would be renamed Victoria Avenue, with to be a continuation of Victoria as it's been constructed and extended with development inside the city. That portion also would involve, because of the street numbers in that area, and the street numbers of Victoria would actually involve changing the street numbers of those addresses that are affected. Number two is actually the simplest of all four of them. It's actually renaming that section of Greensbury Road West as Woodlake Drive. There's actually not any addresses or houses that take addresses or access off of that section. So it's really just removing kind of that jog in the existing street name. Number three has two portions that are actually outside the city limits. The first I'll note, if you look in the bottom left of that proposed exhibit, there's the portion west of the railroad, of Welborn Road, over to INGN Road. That's Greensbury Trail. Proposed to rename it Greensbury Road, and as you see on the exhibit, Greensbury Road would go straight past the Woodlake Drive subdivision and be a continuous road. There's not any addresses along that portion there, so it'd be a simple change. The other portion is near the Woodlake subdivision. There's a few homes that front Greensbury Trail currently that would actually go from Greensbury Trail to Greensbury Road. So just changing the suffix. The street name would stay the same. To the northeast of Woodlake Drive intersection, it's Greensbury Road West. Actually, would just drop the suffix. It currently has the suffix west. There used to be a portion of Greensbury Road East that was east of Highway 6 before State Highway 40 came in, which is now William D. Fitch Parkway, and so that was renamed. And so really, the west is an unnecessary suffix, and can remove that and simplify that. So there are, for the county consideration, there are I believe 4 homes that are east of there that would basically just drop the west suffix for that. So those are an overview of the changes. The areas that would be changed are the dashed portions that you see there in the proposal. If the Commissioner's Court concurs or there's consensus with this, then we'll move forward with those changes. Notifications will be sent to the property owners that are affected, as well as other stakeholders, HOAs in the area, just for informational purposes, that we would want to make sure that folks are aware of these changes coming forward. The idea would be to actually include in that notification the dates that would come before the County Commissioner's Court and the City Council for the respective areas, and then actually have that formal adoption later on this summer is kind of the time frame. So with that, that's my presentation, and if, I don't know if there's available for any questions.
So you have to take it back to approved by the council, and then you'll notify the landowners?
There'll be notifications first that there is a upcoming meeting, and that this proposal, this is actually, there hasn't been formal notifications of this, because really this is coming before you today saying the city is considering this, and for us to do it, actually, the Brazos County would need to do it as well. So this is kind of like our introduction to it, but it would be notifications in advance of the meeting, and then I believe if adopted, that notification should be sent out afterwards to kind of say, yes, it was changed, and so here is, basically these addresses are now in effect for your properties.
Jason, I think this all makes sense. I think it particularly is appropriate since it came from our emergency services, from 911, to have uniformity. So just to give you my thoughts on that. But the question I have is should we go ahead and do this? How do you notify, or maybe we need to learn some secrets or words, because now updating Google Maps and Apple Maps and all those things with all of these names and numbers. If y'all have any insights, and I think our road and bridge folks would appreciate it too, on how we update GPS oriented systems and those types of things, that we work together to make sure that everybody understands how to do that, because there are some maps that are still in Brazos County that you'll be looking for a location, and they'll send you to somewhere where, like, I know there's one map series, I think it's Apple Maps, to where Straub Road doesn't even exist anymore, but it still directs you according to get to some of the locations that are west of 2154. it'll tell you to take Straub Road, which doesn't even exist anymore. So I would like to ask that if we do something like this, that we combine also in that an exploration of making sure we all know how to, I grew up on the other side of the digital divide, but I like the technology and I like to use it as far as that goes, but it becomes challenging on how to get it right. And make sure that the Apple Maps, Google Maps, or Garmin, or whatever GPS system operates there. So we'd appreciate your help on that too.
Yes, that's actually, obviously, as government entities, we control the addressing, the street names, street signs. We don't have control, obviously, of the third-party electronic GPS navigation that we pretty much all use to get around. That's not under our control. But Brazos County 911 does have a contact as far as with Google. They actually submit things on a regular basis, so they're considered, I forget the actual term, but a user such that they're actually more recognized and more of I guess, an official submitter, if you will.
Okay.
And so I know.
Well, maybe you've answered my question there, where we're looking for the direct source as far as that goes, because I think everybody tries to do it. So thanks.
Yeah, so we do, submit the changes, and ultimately it's up to them to change it and
Okay.
follow up as necessary.
Well, that certainly makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Our next presentation, discussion is Brazos Valley Economic Development Corporation 2018 Incentives Compliance Report by Matt Cresta and Chuck Martinez. Matt?
Good morning, Commissioners. How are you today? Thank you for allowing us to be with you. Wanted to first start off just by introducing our team. I'm Matt Prohaska, President and CEO of the EDC. With me today are two of our staff team members, Chuck Martinez and Tim Neely. We want to start off first and foremost by saying thank you for the county's support in economic development. It's a great partnership, and we truly, truly appreciate the teamwork that's happening, and love to see the growth that's going on in our area. Next, we're here today to present to you our compliance reports. There are 7 companies under incentives, and this is an annual event, as you know, and wanted to come through and give you that report today. As part of that, I'm pleased to report that all of the companies are in compliance, and Chuck Martinez from our team is going to go into a little bit of detail on each one of the 7 companies that are under incentives. In addition, we do have a hard copy if you guys would prefer to take a look at those for each of our compliance reports. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chuck. Thank you.
Looks familiar.
These match exactly what's on
Same
the slide.
pieces here.
Yes.
Good morning, Commissioners. So as Matt opened, we're pleased to be here this morning as part of our responsibilities to our funding partners to report and monitor the compliance activities of the companies that received incentives in the calendar year 2018. And we're exceedingly pleased to report the business investments and job creation that occurred during this business cycle. Next slide, please. As Matt referenced, there are 7 projects that we're monitoring on behalf of the county and the 2 cities. Just a little bit breakdown of those 7 companies, or 7 project companies. One of those is in the county, 3 of them are in the city of Bryan, and 3 are in College Station city limits. With the recent annexation, that's changed a little bit of things, but for calendar year 2018, that was the layout of the jurisdictions. Overall, in this report, there's over 1,300 jobs, 1,314 to be exact, over 78 million in payroll. And I'll make a note that of that 1,300 jobs that were in this report, last year in 2017, there were 900. So it's been a great improvement in the companies receiving incentives. As I mentioned, there's $78 million in payroll in this report. In last year's report, it was $54 million. This year's valuation of property was $425 million, or over $425 million, and last year was 307 million. So wonderful progress throughout each of the reports, which I'll go through in detail here. Next slide. So the first company that we'll address is Advana. They're an agricultural genetics R&D company. This is a company in County Precinct 4, as well as the City of College Station city limits. In terms of the actual payroll, you can see here the requirement of the company was to meet a $2.3 million payroll. They exceeded that amount. In terms of personal property investment value, there was no requirement in this first calendar year since the ribbon cutting, which they met that amount in that first year. But the personal property value will kick in next year, but this year's number was just over $1 million. And lastly, the company has 27 jobs on site of the required 20 that's supposed to be there on the facility. The other thing I'll point out is that of those 27 jobs, the average salary is about $85,000 a job. So it's extraordinarily beneficial for our community. Next slide, please.
Do you have information on the lowest amount paid?
We can get that for you, Commissioner.
I'd like to know. And how many received that pay?
Okay. The next company that we'll address is Access Pipe and Tube. It's a steel manufacturing company in County Precinct 4 and also in Commissioner Cawley's precinct. This is also, at the time, again, the City of Bryan in their ETJ, which is now, this company will maintain its non-annexation per their agreement, but the area surrounding it will now be in the City of Bryan. In terms of payroll, they had a $10.5 million requirement. They had reached over almost $15 million in that category. In real and personal property investment value, the requirement was $120 million. And in this case, they had reached over $275 million in investment value. And in terms of employment, the requirement was 285 jobs, and they had reached 291 jobs. This is a company that has, as part of its incentive agreement, a formula that kind of combines all of those variables. In this case, they've reached that compliance through that formula. The next company that we'll address is Fujifilm, which is a biopharmaceutical manufacturing company. Also in County Precinct 4. This company is part of its process, or the grant agreement, is that they pay their annual taxes, and then per these incentive reports to the county and the jurisdictions, based on that compliance, they would see a portional rebates of that process. And so the top category is what you'll see in terms of the expected or the anticipated incentive from the jurisdictions. In this particular case, the payroll of $6 million was exceeded by $16.8 million. The investment value was at $70 million and measured in at $83.9 million. You'll notice that the difference between the 2017 and 2018 numbers, there was, during the course of this year's report and last year's report, the appraisal district had gone in and done an assessment of property based on this particular industry standards, and that's what you'll see here is the adjustment plus picking up an additional properties for subject to taxation. In terms of employment, the company had reported 174 jobs and of the 100 that were required. The next company, this is the LSPI facility. It's a special chemical manufacturing facility. This is otherwise known as the Freedom Plant. This particular company is located in County Precinct 4. And in terms of the payroll requirements of $1.5 million, the company had reported $2.4 million in annual payroll. In terms of real and personal property, the requirement was to benchmark at $20 million, and they exceeded that at $41.9 million. And in terms of new employment, they had reported 59 jobs of the 24 that was required. Next slide is Nutrabolt. This is a nutraceutical functional food company in our community. It's located in County Precinct 4, also in City of Bryan's district. In terms of the 2018 performance numbers, again, this company exceeded its requirements of $3 million in payroll and reported at $9.8 million. In terms of their investment value, this is real and personal property less the land, which is the land itself is at $1.3 million. This investment value came in at a little over $10 million of the $9 million that was required, and 106 jobs on site as opposed to the required 75. The couple more companies to go through here. The next company is Viasat. It's an internet wireless communications company, also in County Precinct 4. In terms of this facility, this is a company that is just getting off, basically its facility off the ground. They had their ribbon cutting in 2017. Last calendar year in April was their ribbon cutting of the reported $30 million facility that was required to be $20 million. And so that's a very handsome facility in terms of business workspace in our community. No requirement per the agreements to have in terms of payroll, investment value, or employment, but the company is reporting those numbers, which, as you can see, as the company moves into those years where there will be a requirement, they're on pace to meet those. So in payroll, there's a $20 million valuation, and in 18 there was a for real and personal property was $12.2 million. There may be a little concern that, are they going to meet that $15 million in 19? We'll tell you just from looking at the preliminary appraisal district numbers for 19, that number is $23 million. So they've exceeded that number if it holds. So in terms of employment, the 150 jobs that they'll need to report eventually, they're at 243 jobs. And the last company that we'll address is Wayfair. It's a customer contact center that came in from the Northeast. Again, this company is continuing to reach its expectations of its performance here in our community. This is a company located in County Precinct 2, also in the City of Bryan's District 3. In terms of its payroll, they had a $10.8 million requirement. They had reported at $10.9 million. In terms of the personal property investment value, was expected to be at $350,000. They measured in at a little over $1.1 million. And in terms of jobs, the 300 that was required to have, they're at 414 jobs. One of the things that this particular company, its agreement is really with the Brazos Valley Economic Development Corporation, with support through the Bryan Business Council to offset some of that agreement. And so we're at that end of the 36th month of the company's operation. And so our board of directors made a motion to make that third and final payment that we'll be releasing this calendar year. And that concludes our report comments. We're happy to address any questions the commissioners have.
Looks like everybody's on target or above.
Above, well above.
Did we underestimate?
underestimate.
The profits, I mean, you know, they are not just one company, but most of them have exceeded the prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Payroll and employment,
Yes, ma'am. All the
which is good. I'm not saying it's bad, it's great.
Yeah. No, I think when these incentives are provided on behalf of the community to these companies, there is a mutual desire for the companies to exceed their performance, and we're fortunate that Bryan College Station is in a very strong economy right now. I think the support that the county provides to our organization along with our partners, and again, we just want to make a public acknowledgement we appreciate the work of Bruce and Steve on y'all's staff as we work on these projects to move forward. But I think all the companies are meeting and exceeding their requirements.
Chuck,
Thank
do
you.
they report to you just annually, or do y'all look
So,
at it during the year?
So as part of this annual reporting process that we make to Commissioners Court and the City Councils, at the close of, as we get closer to the calendar year close, we'll notify the companies, start the process of gathering, their requirements of the data that they'll submit as part of the documents that we've kind of shared with you here today. Some of the agreements have kind of a mid-year date requirements. Not all of them are the same, and so some of the companies report kind of off cycle, if you will, but they will do that directly to the jurisdictions themselves as required by the contract. But this process allows us to, regardless of when they may self-report to the jurisdiction, this allows us to have a comprehensive report.
Is there anything out there on the horizon of maybe some other big ones coming in?
Always. Yeah, I think, we're, like I said, our economy is really revving up, and we're fortunate to be in that situation in our state. The state, I think, Matt, I think Texas is now the 7th consecutive year. The states compete against each other, of course, for economic development projects, and this is the 7th consecutive year that the business community has awarded Texas as the best state to do business. And so when companies look at Texas, they start figuring out, well, where in Texas? And so we stand high or tall and with a firm back that we want you here in our community. And so we're fortunate that more and more companies are looking at our market, not only Texas expansions, but nationwide expansions into Texas, and in some cases international expansions into Texas.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate the job y'all do. Matt, you and your crew, y'all do a great job, and we're glad to have you.
Well, I think the biggest, I want to just say is one of the representatives from the county to the EDC board, is I feel like with Texas A&M University for its 2nd year now as a part of us, where we have both cities, the county and Texas A&M University, all working together on a very, very broad front relative to capturing the economic development opportunities that we have here. This is the beginning of a level of success, in my opinion, that we have not ever experienced in Brazos County before this, and I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about your leadership, the things that I see that are happening, where things are going, and obviously from taking a look at the compliance report here, we've been in a good economy, and we're at a great, what was it that the governor said? We have to, or was it Charles Schwertner that said at the Economic Outlook Conference, we have to remember that we are in the sweet spot of the United States. And I think that that's becoming more and more obvious to more people. So thank you for what you do and helping promote that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Good report.
Or just point it,
Okay. We'll consider and take action on agenda items 4 through 25. Number 4, proclamation 19-028 recognizing the businessmen's Bible class of First Baptist Church, Bryan.
Move
approval.
for, second.
Have a motion and a second.
100
Discussion.
years.
100 years.
Wow.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. I don't think anybody's here for that, so we're not gonna read that. Number 5, resolution 19-010, approving the insurance of bonds to finance and refinance certain projects for St. Joseph Regional Health Center.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. For discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 6, appointment of the following members to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
Commissioner,
Yes, ma'am.
The auditor wanted me to make clear that this is not an obligation of the county. This is a step that we were required by statute to take
Okay.
to enable them to complete their process. But these bonds are not in any way, shape, or form a liability to Brazos.
Okay, thank you. Okay, back to number 6, appointment of the following member to the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee.
I approve the nominations A through G.
Second.
Motion and second, A through G. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 7, payment authorization to Plant People LLC in the amount of $180 for consultation and presentation to Commissioners Court regarding the cedar tree at the courthouse. Purchase
Move
order was not
approval.
done in advance.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 8, request from Juvenile Administration for the following personnel changes with effective date June the 15th, 2019. This change will have a decrease to the juvenile TJJD grants in the amount of $28.
Move approval A, B, and C.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, A, B, and C. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 9, approval of a computerized program through the Texas Workforce Commission designed to aid law enforcement in locating persons with outstanding warrants, criminal investigations, locating defendants and witnesses in criminal cases, and other needs as deemed necessary. Cost of the program is $1,500 per year and is to be paid by Precinct 1.
Move approval.
Have a motion?
I have a question.
Okay.
So, if I understand this correctly, people that are enrolled in Texas Workforce Commission, trying to get jobs and training, will be arrested if they have outstanding warrants? Is that the way this works?
Actually, the way it's set up is if we have a warrant on someone, we'll go through TLO and we'll go ahead and get their social security number through TLO. Once we have social security number through this other program, we can enter it, and if someone is working in the area, has gotten a job somewhere and had payroll tax taken out, then it would show up where they're working at. So that's just another means we can go find the person. So many times these warrants, people are out of town, they work here locally, but they're out of town, so we have no way of knowing where they're at or how to get a hold of them.
Okay.
So this helps us to be able to get in.
So this person has a job and you found out where they are, you go out and arrest them at the job?
Yes, ma'am, of course, most of the time, what we'd rather do is a lot of times we'll just do it on a credit card or something like that, to go ahead and take care of it rather than have to take them to jail. If we could do that, most cases we'll do that with them.
Okay, so do they lose their jobs because they're arrested?
Well, I don't know about that, but, the thing is, just 3 warrants on this in a year's time to pay for the expense of it. It's just
But
another-
how many lives are you gonna affect? How many people are gonna be without the possibility of a job? I understand, being from law enforcement, I do understand the premise. But in real life, what's gonna happen is people are gonna lose their job and not be able to support the family or themselves.
Well, it's the same situation, if they're out there and they stop on a traffic stop, the same thing happens with the warrant, and we by law enforcement, we can't just ask them, say, hey, young, we have to go ahead and, by law, go ahead and take them to
again, I understand. But I would like there to be more humane, process. There's got to be another way. I'm working, and because I'm working, you're gonna come to my job, arrest me, embarrass me, I lose my job, I lose my income and my means of taking care of my responsibility. That's not helping.
Well, they have that
Commissioner,
possibility
if-
anyway.
Yes.
If-
Is there some means of putting a letter in the mail after you know where they are?
I'm Ed Bull, I'm with the county attorney's office.
Yes, sir.
Having worked with the JP offices for quite some time and knowing how many outstanding warrants there are, these law enforcement officers, that's not their first choice to go out there and actually go on site to someone's job. The concern is exactly what you've stated, that something will happen. And these law enforcement officers that serve these warrants, I think, are cognizant of that. And what they do is, this is another tool in order to make contact with that person, because they're trying to close those warrants out. They will try home addresses, other phone numbers, in order to contact that, send letters. Now, there is the real concern that something may happen to that job, but ultimately, law enforcement is there to serve those warrants, and that provides them with a tool. That's all it is, it's just a tool.
Commissioner, I gotta tell you, the most humane way, in my opinion, to deal with this is for people to respond to the law, according to the law, and take care of their warrants. If you've got
Well-
an offense or something that's out there, it's not like it's unknown, you know, and but the best remedy is to take care of, if you have an outstanding warrant, to take care of it. There's a warrant amnesty period. I know that.
Steve, if this were a perfect world, that would be great, but it's not. And some people are not able, and I'm just concerned that once they receive the possibility of changing their circumstances, you know, we take it away from
Well,
them.
I don't think that they
Well,
would,
it's not like there's
this isn't
not.
the first rattle out of the box for
It's not.
to go do this, and they all have a responsibility. You know, it doesn't make I know it's tough, but they've already tried to get in touch with them numerous ways, and they have a responsibility to pay the warrants that they have. And there's got to be an end. There's got to be an end product there somewhere. There's got to be a way to
And
do
I
it.
would like you to consider other the means than going to the job. And I do understand the premise, as I said. I've been in law enforcement most of my career, so I do understand, and I can appreciate the effort, but I've registered my concerns, and I hope you will consider those. Thank you.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Deputy, can I get your name for the minutes? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we're still on number 9. We're gonna take a vote.
There wasn't a second.
All in favor?
Oh, yeah, there wasn't a second.
No, there wasn't a second.
Oh, there wasn't.
I moved approval.
You second it?
I moved approval.
Moved. I'll second. We'll go by show of hands. All in favor, raise your hand. All opposed? 2-1. Motion carries.
Commissioner, thank you for your expressed
We appreciate
concerns. They did not fall upon deaf ears.
And we hope that they will try all other means possible before
Well,
that happens.
I hope you understand that although this is another tool, it shouldn't be the first. And I realize that your purpose is
I
to
don't
squash
think-
some of those warrants, and I do get that. But we need to do different,
I
I
have one
think.
other question. It says,
Go
just so we know, it says it's gonna be paid for by precinct 1. Is that just the constable, or is that also JP 1? Or,
It's just West of JP 1 court.
okay, okay.
So the Justice of the Peace is paying for the program using part of the $5 fee that's part of every court filing.
Okay.
It's a technology fund that they have to use for things like this, so.
Okay.
It's actually being paid by the
precinct
Just to send
one.
a piece for the benefit of the council.
Okay.
As a law enforcement.
Okay, thank you.
As Commissioner Collins said, tool.
All right. We move to number 10, permission to increase the Diners Club credit card limit from 1,000 to 2,000 under Carl Colby at the Brazos County Expo Complex.
Move approval.
The increase will help with the online marketing campaign for the expo.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll get you in a bar with $2,000 on a Diners Club card.
Well, I hope not. We have responsible, efficient, and effective leadership,
What are you talking about?
well-trained.
You talking about the expo?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The leadership.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 11, permission to advertise RFP number 19-119 OSP fiber and cabling.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 12, approval of following committee for the evaluation of proposals for RFP number 19-119 OSP fiber and cabling.
I move approval A through E.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve A through E. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 13, approval of contract for payment of court fees between Brazos County and Cedar Crest Hospital and residential treatment area.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 14, approval of service contract 19-144 post-accident and CDL and alcohol testing with anytime analysis.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 15, approval of service contract CIP 19-582 for wall partition replacements at Brazos Center with Rob Pelliter Construction Incorporated.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. For discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 16, renewal of contract 20-014R portable toilet rentals with Texas Commercial Waste.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion, all say aye.
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 All opposed, motion carries. Number 17, approval of the Wixon Creek Special Utility District utility permit to construct a road bore for a 4-inch water line crossing under Oak Lake Road, 1,760 foot northwest of FM 2038. Site's located in precinct 2.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 18, approval of treasurer's report for April 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Expenditure journal entries, year 18/19, 060007-060010.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Number 20, tax refund applications for the following.
Move approval A through G.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve A through G tax refund applications. Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Budget amendments. Budget amendments FY 18-19, 37.1-37.2.
Move approval.
Have a motion.
Second.
And a second. Discussion. Everyone states by aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 22, personnel change of status.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. And I'll second it.
Okay.
Motion second for a personnel change of status. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Payment of claims. Payment of claims to be paid by Brazos County. Claim number 8015777 through claim number 8015986.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. We're gonna skip 24. Go down to 26, Juvenile Director's Report on Detention Population.
Good morning, Commissioners. Currently, we have 33 youth in detention, 27 males, 6 females, and we have 25 on electronic monitors.
Thank you, ma'am. Sheriff's Report on Inmate Population.
Good morning, Commissioners. 654 today, 549 men, 105 women, 46 on electronic monitoring, and 19 women.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Number 28, announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
4-H Roundup is going on in Brazos County. So when you see these young people in our community and their sponsors, their parents are here too, tell them we're glad they're here and ask to be helpful. You know, just show them that good old Brazos County hospitality. It's great to have them here.
Thank you. Call for citizen input and or concerns. Yes, ma'am.
Just a quick announcement, the mobile spay neuter unit of the Aggieland Humane Society spayed and neutered the 5,000th animal this last week.
Awesome.
And the TNR program, which is Trap Neuter Return for feral cats, has spayed or neutered the 500th feral cat this week under the French's Feline TNR grant. So we're making some headway in the spays and neuters in our community.
Well, keep the good work up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
You're gonna work yourself out of a job.
We're gonna move back up now to 24, convene an
Job security
executive
is a
session pursuant to the following, Texas Government Code 551-0785 for deliberation of all medicals into records of a county employee. And, let's see, Ed, I guess Bruce, us, Candy, Jennifer. Okay.
And
And
then-
B will be Texas
And B.
Government Code 551-072, discuss purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. So we'll go into executive session.
Okay, and we need to
at,
note the time.
10:51. Okay, we are back out of executive session at 10:58. We'll have some, on the first item.
I'd like to offer a motion that we approve a certain procedure for a specific employee at this time.
Second.
Motion been made and second. We do this with an employee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
The second thing on the
No,
executive council,
no.
we don't take any action on.
Right.
So we'll go to the last item on the agenda to adjourn.
Thanks,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, once again,